Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan, and today I'm talking about one of the middle songs on Metal Galaxy, which is Brand New Day, featuring Tim Henson and Scott LePage of Polyphia. Just to remind you, I'm still collecting videos for the Thank You Baby Metal series that I will compile when everybody has turned stuff in by the end of this month. So if you haven't done that yet, please do so. All right, thanks. Enjoy. I'm using the video with a watermark on it so that I don't get tagged for copyright. I'll link to the original in the description below so you can see the full thing. I don't know that it matters quite as much with this one because the visuals rely heavily on silhouettes, so it's not like you're going to miss a lot of facial detail. Such a great opening, isn't it? The guitar that comes in kind of out of nowhere and launches us right into the center of the song, and then we're going to sort of back away from it a little bit. But it starts with this very positive energy, which I think is appropriate for the song. And the guitar part is played by Tim Henson and Scott LePage, and there are things to say about that which I can't do here. So I'm going to make a quick change of scenery and I'll talk a little about specifically that guitar riff and what I think makes it interesting. Okay, back in a minute. Obviously the original has two overlapping guitars, but the core is something like this. So the whole is constructed of basically two phrases, the second one which repeats and modifies the first. The first part of each phrase repeats in both cases, and then the second one, the first one goes down and the second one goes up, right? Raising the tone is a way of increasing the emotional intensity of the sound, so you get those shrill notes at the end. What I think is interesting about this is that it's very unusual for baby metal, and it's very unusual for a metal song generally to have such a melodic guitar hook right up front at the beginning of the song. To me, it feels more like a pop rock rhythm and blues song, where instead of setting up the vocal to do most of the work, the guitar provides a kind of lead-in which sounds almost like a voice, right? Because there's so much melody, so much tune in the guitar lick itself. As a hook, it reminds me of something like that Carlos Santana song "Smooth" that he did with Rob Thomas, you know? Right, similar group of notes played in the same part of the guitar, and it sets up that very melodic piece of instrumental work, which means that when the vocal comes in, it doesn't need to do quite so much. There's not as much range in the song itself because so much of the tune is being provided by these sort of separate guitar licks. Another one that you might think of is something like from the 60s, Derek and the Dominos featuring Eric Clapton. And this is also one that does the repetition, and the second instance goes a little higher. So again, it's the repetition which pushes the note the second time through up a little higher to raise that sort of intensity. This is why choruses always tend to lift in terms of pitch, just to sort of raise the emotional level of the song. But what I think is striking about this again is that this is so not like the way baby metal usually play. If you think of a song like Akatsuki, for example, as a representation, think of the way that the guitar functions at the beginning of that song. Let me get something a little chunkier as a sound. But I mean, the purpose of that guitar obviously is completely different, right? It's all about supplying the energy and the drive and the intensity, the anticipation for the voice coming in. And when the voice comes in, it comes in at half speed, it comes in low, and it's got all that power to it because the guitar is doing all the tempo work for it. So the voice doesn't have to do that. The voice can focus on tune. The guitar is not supplying tune. It's not supplying melody. It's supplying a kind of drum roll before the main act, right? And you think about those anticipatory. That's all about laying the table for the voice, right? So it's quite different from what's happening in a song like Brand New Day. So what I think is interesting is how rarely baby metal rely on that lead guitar to open the song with tune. And particularly striking, I think, one of the few songs that comes to mind where they do that is something like Road of Resistance. And again, you've got that double phrasing, right? The repetition. And again, you've got two guitars in the actual recording. So you've got that extra layering that gives you a third higher to build that sense of drama. And what I think is really striking about this is not just that these are two songs that are doing something similar in terms of setting up the melody as separate from the voice, which then allows the voice to work within a smaller range of notes, which you hear when you listen to it, right? Usually with baby metal, you hear Sue is running all the way using more than an octave, sometimes two octaves, to build those sense of those little runs that construct a sense of musical narrative, right? But she doesn't do that in Brand New Day, partly because the guitar is carrying so much of the melody work for her. And I think it's really interesting that with both this and with Road of Resistance, which seem to be sort of outliers within the baby metal catalogue, they're relying on guest guitarists, right? And one of the things that we know about the way that baby metal songs are put together is that frequently they're constructed electronically, and then when it comes to playing live, the Cami band have to figure out how to play it. So often the initial laying down of actual recordings is not coming from live instrumentation and not coming from live musicians. But in the case of Road of Resistance and Brand New Day, it is, because these are guest artists who are brought in to showcase not just the way that they put together a tune, but the way that they execute that tune in the playing of their own guitars. And both Herman Lee of Dragon Force and Tim Henson have talked about the way that they worked on these songs. And it's interesting to me because in neither case were they sitting down in the studio with other band members and recording in a sort of live setting. They were constructing files which they were then sending to Baby Metal. And from what Tim Henson said, they were sent a kind of rough template with sort of placeholder tracks there, which they then had to sort of replace, extrapolate, develop in their own way. And they knocked it out fairly quickly and sent it in. But as I say, you know, I think it's interesting that these are both guest performers who are being given the spotlight to create tune before the vocal does anything at all. Again, you can't see it super clear with the watermark, but I love that sort of serpentine, the bending quality that Moa has in this sequence. Lyrically, in some ways, this is one of the easier Baby Metal songs, and part of the reason that it's easier to understand for foreigners like us, or me at least, is that it uses way more English than Baby Metal songs usually do, apart from the couple that are almost entirely in English, right? Like From Dusk Till Dawn or The One. But this has English words and phrases on almost every line all the way through. I keep thinking maybe, you know, in the context of what I was just saying about the guitar work, if this was intended to be a more mainstream single, maybe. But lyrically, it's still interesting because it has the qualities that a lot of the earlier Baby Metal songs have. I think of this as being quite similar to Karate, in that Karate is about sort of pushing through adversity and keeping fighting no matter what. This is a more positive spin on that, but some of the ideas are similar. So rushing through the night sky, this stardust that she can see, right? So we begin in the night. Marude crush shita yume mitai in the sky. So yume mitai. So yeah, okay. So it's like I'm looking at something that looks like a dream that has been crushed, a crushed dream, which is the stardust, right? So stardust you'd think of as automatically being positive or beautiful, but it looks like sort of pulverized fragments of aspiration. So we're looking up at the sort of scattering of stardust in the sky, but however beautiful it might be, it looks like it's miserable, right? It looks like all people's dreams, or all the singers or speakers' dreams that have been crushed, right? So we begin, I think, in the darkness of night, right? Those moments when you wake up and you're thinking about all the bad things in your life, all the things that haven't worked out the way you want to, and all the difficult stuff that you have yet to do. And then she says, so she wants to sleep. She wants to go back to sleep or get to sleep because it's lonely and night is depressing. Kaze no rizumu, rhythm, the shaking dance in the dark. So in the rhythm of the kaze, wind, the rhythm of the wind is creating this sort of pulsing dance in the dark. So we're looking at the night sky, and it's somehow emblematic of the bad stuff, but there's also this sense of energy, as if the universe itself is calling to her. I say her, I'm inserting the pronoun. It's not there in the song. I'm just imagining a sort of combination of the speaker, in this case Sue Metal, with the words of the song themselves. So the first slight wrinkle in the lyric, Kimi ga yobu koide. Um, Kimi means you. So at the sound of your voice calling, I'm going to wake up. I don't want to lose my mind. So who's the you? Right? As I said before, the pronouns are few and far between in baby metal songs, so it's difficult always to know how to position yourself. But there is a you here, but I don't. But the song is unbelievably unspecific as to the who the you is. Is this a romantic song? Are we imagining a lover or beloved calling to her? Is this the voice of the universe itself, right? We're just talking about the way that sort of divine wind moving through the divine wind. I'm projecting for the word kaze, as in kamikaze. But that sense of some sort of power in the universe, which is communicating to her musically. So now we're also starting to sort of self-reference the song as song, right? It gets a slightly meta dimension. So the you could also be the imagined audience, or the people who are listening to the song. But she hears that you calling to her. And though she doesn't want to lose her mind, even though she says, Toki wa sugite, move on, daremo tomerarenai. So time passes, and the move on seems to be embedded, right? The English words are part of the Japanese sentence. Time passes and moves on, and no one can stop it, right? That's the daremo. Nobody can prevent the movement of time. And then we get that slightly difficult to hear English phrase, how will the weather be tomorrow? Which I confess, if I didn't see it written in front of me, I probably wouldn't have understood. And that's partly because the vocal is so compressed at that moment. It sounds a little like something from Dusk Till Dawn. So far, what we have is beginning from a space of quite sort of depressed negativity, and then confronting the sort of constant movement of time and the idea of something calling to you. And then we move into this sort of the rousing chorus. So great, man. Yeah, we are missing faces a little bit. Sorry. So this is the big chorus. Haretara, knock knock shite mio. If it's sunny, let's do it. I'm not entirely sure what the knock knock is. Again, assuming that it's part of the sentence, then what we're going to do is partly about knocking. And I think, what does knock knock mean? I guess it means opening doors. It means trying something. It means stepping out. It means making connections with people. All of these are potentially positive things, which requires a kind of small leap of faith, right? A decision to knock on the door, right? To step forward into something, I guess. It goes without saying that I'm making stuff up at this point. Again, I said this 1,000 times, but I have to keep repeating it. This is just me. I'm responding to the words and the music, and this is not supposed to be an encyclopedia entry. Okay. So the next part, amenara break shitate ii janai. So if it's raining, break. Why don't you do it? Why don't we do it? Why don't I do it? Right? Not sure about the break. I don't think it's functioning in the way that break functions in From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's clearly an indicator of the breakdown shift in the music, because that's not what happens here. So what does it mean? Break. Break as in take a break, relax? Does it mean break as in shift, change of direction, right? Break your journey, or not sure. In the context of what the song seems to be saying is, if it's sunny, then we'll go for it. If it's rainy, likewise, I guess, right? We may have to do something different, but we're going to do something, yeah. And it has that same sort of, sense of trying to do something in spite of the weather conditions, right? Which is what we were speculating about in the previous line. So as a just step by step. So don't rush it. Just move methodically, step by step. Take your time. Asuga mata kuru kara, day by day. So tomorrow will come again, right? This is the sort of repeated phrase that comes up repeatedly in the course of the song. Asuga mata kuru kara. Tomorrow will come again, right? So imagine again, we remember where the song starts. The song starts in this sort of depressing night, and we're looking forward to what the brand new day is going to bring, right? And part of the point of what the brand new day is that the brand new day is always a new opportunity, and that there will always be another tomorrow to fix the previous day's mistakes, to give it another shot, to move forward. That's what I mean about this song having a kind of aspirational optimism about it. Yeah, tomorrow will come again. Asuga mata kuru kara. Great sentence, great line. And then we go back to the verse, and the verse has overtones of the sort of the darker, more anxious part. So we begin with the tiny voice, which can't be heard. Which I don't know if that's her or the voice that she's listening to. Right, in the darkness, she hears somebody calling to her. Let's assume it's the latter. Right, that it's something that on the edge of hearing that you can almost hear, but you can't quite grasp it. Hoshi no screen dumita yo ano natsu no stage. So I saw something on the star screen, that summer stage. Now again, that sort of meta quality makes you think, well, maybe we're talking about a literal stage, a performance, some sort of concert. Are we in the audience? Are we on stage? But I also think that, the star screen is the sky, right? In which case the summer stage is the sort of performance of the heavens itself. It's not necessarily like going to see a concert. I think it's bigger than that and more natural. And then the kikasete, good music. So let's hear it. The music. So again, is it music on a stage in a rock concert, or is it the music of the heavens, right? Which you talked about before as something that you could sort of hear the cry of, maybe. This is an old idea, the idea that the stars and planets are moving in some sort of celestial movement, which generates music, the music of the spheres, right? Is what it used to be called in the West, on the assumption that all the heavenly bodies were on some sort of crystal sphere situation that generated the most perfect music in its movement because of the sort of mathematical precision of it. So maybe something like that going on here, that the music is both the music that we're making in the song and the music that informs the impulse behind the song, the music of the cosmos, which is sort of pushing us forward and giving us the strength to continue. And so one form of music becomes another, right? The cosmic music becomes the music of the band. Again, this is just me. But that's the way it feels to me. That's what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to sort of convey that sort of quasi-spiritual sense of hopefulness. Kaze no melody de humming, sing for me. So the melody of the wind, right? So it is the natural world which is somehow producing this sound, which she's then trying to channel. It is strange the way that they have to sort of force that. How will the weather be tomorrow? And the scansion doesn't quite work. I wish I'd been able to tweak that. Anyway, Kimi ga yobu koi ga, I can hear you calling me. Oikakeru, run after. I don't want to lose my way, so I'm chasing after something. Moshi mayota toki wa, if you have any doubts, if you get lost, ichiji teshi de, deep breath. Pause, take a deep breath. So it's like that sort of step-by-step thing, right? No need to rush, no need to panic. Breathe, always good, and we can move forward. Daremo kini shitenai. No one cares. No one, and I don't mean that in a negative sense. I don't think it means no one cares about you. No one cares about. I don't think it means that. I mean, it doesn't. Nobody cares about whether you get there quickly. Nobody cares whether you're stumbling along the way, whether you have to pause for breath. None of that stuff matters, right? The trick is to keep moving. And this is why I think it's reminiscent of karate, right? That no matter how difficult it is, you just got to keep going, yeah? Find the positive and move forward. And then we're back to the chorus. Yeah. When she says it's going to be okay, I believe it. And I don't know why. Making these videos for a year, I still don't understand what this band does to me. Anyway. Yeah. So right before we lead into the chorus, we get another English line. Don't look back, just keep moving forward. And that's the song, right? That's what the brand new day represents. Opportunity to move past whatever bad things have been happening. And the same words about sun, whether it's sunny, whether it's rainy. And not to be in a hurry, just keep moving forward. And tomorrow is going to be a brand new day. Tomorrow will come again. And then we get the solo. So as I said at the beginning, this is Tim Henson and Scott LePage, and they both play with a band called Polyphia, who are sometimes known as a progressive rock or even a math rock band. I don't like the term math rock. It seems dismissive. But it comes out of the fact that so-called math rock frequently uses changes in time signature within a song, frequently, throwing these sort of unusual rhythms and switches in temporal direction in the course of the song. So it's very complicated to play, hence math rock. But that also makes it sound somewhat dry and academic, which I resent as an academic. Because I don't think it is that at all. It just means that it's not easy. And Polyphia are defined primarily by the fact that they're almost exclusively an instrumental band, right? They rely heavily on guitars, bass, drums, almost no vocal at all. So what I was saying at the beginning about the sort of the very melodic style of the guitar playing is partly because in their music, the guitar part is taking the place of the vocal part. Right? All the sort of the expressive stuff. You can't just have instruments responding to it or commenting on it or supporting it. They've got to carry the lead, right? So I think as we go into this solo, you can hear that it's not just shredding, it's not just sort of tricky, intricate technique, right? It's also tune, and it's almost like an extra voice in the song. Okay, let's pause it there. That's a gorgeous little solo, isn't it? And no, I am not going to play it because I can't. So, I mean, these guys are extraordinary guitarists, but it's not just that, as I said, they're not just sort of technically gifted or skilled. They're also inventive, right? And the things that that characterizes a lot of Polyphia songs, I would include some, but it will almost certainly get blocked for copyright, so I probably won't. Maybe I'll link to a couple in the description below. But you can hear it, right? There's the left hand is very mobile, right? They're constantly changing positions on the neck of the guitar. One of the reasons I can't play it. Very quickly, within a phrase, they're up and down all over the place, right? Which gives them full command of whatever notes they want to touch on. They do a lot of tapping and a lot of harmonics, right? So you hear those little notes, those little extra things that are built into the melody, and that's the real thing that's distinctive. I think the fact that it's like a little song within the song, and that's why they were chosen to collaborate on this, and it's why I think the song works as well as it does, or at least this part of it. You know, and there's that little lift at the end, right? As we move towards the final choruses. So great. I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album, actually. And part of it is that sort of irrepressible optimism, you know, and it's not blind optimism. It doesn't come out of nowhere and just like everything's going to be fine. It starts out in those sort of darker places, those anxious places, and then says, we're going to find a way to make it better, you know? And that's quintessential baby metal to me, anyway. So I'll go back over the lyrics a little bit. So it's going to be okay, all right. Sunny day, itsumoto onaji kashiki sae. So sunny day, everything, all the scenery is as normal, as usual. Rainy day, nandake chigatte mieru. I feel like it's different. What does that mean? Sunny days are good, right? You can go outside and it's nice. Rainy days, maybe you can't do as much, but they are transformative. They feed, they nurture, they permit the sunny days and everything growing because it's been rained on. But it does change things, right? Think of the way a landscape alters depending on the light, and that's a good thing, you know? That an overcast, rainy day makes you see the world in a slightly different way, even if you're not particularly happy about it. 7 days, nidoto moraranai, yesterday. So 7 days, I'll never get back yesterday. It's very Beatles kind of sentiment, isn't it? Except the other way around, because the Beatles are thinking back on the good things in the past, and now all the bad stuff is happening now, right? Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now I need a place to hide away. I believe in yesterday, right? So that's a nostalgic, reminiscent kind of song, wanting to go back before the bad stuff started. This is the opposite, right? I can't get back yesterday, so I need to look forward to tomorrow. Whether yesterday was good or bad, it's irrelevant. We're moving forward. Every day, hajimeyo. So, hajimeyo, it means let's get started, let's begin something, right? So the brand new day isn't just the day itself is starting, it's us using that day to start something new. And then we move into the final chorus. That's a big uplifting finish. And at the end there, you hear that those intro bars that the guitar began with finally comes in with the melody, so that they're singing over the top, and that's underscoring, and we go back to the beginning and we hear that initial sound. And, you know, as I said at the start, the vocal doesn't need to do as much in terms of range here because of the way that the guitar part provides a sort of complex harmonizing melody. The words of the song at the end are basically the same as the chorus all the way through, except for kyokara, right? That one little phrase we haven't heard before. Kyokara means from today. So again, it's got that sense of resolve, you know. We're moving into this brand new day, and from here on, this is what we're going to do. And that's it. I don't think this is an incredibly complicated song, but I think it's kind of beautiful and inspiring, and it's one of those songs that I come back to periodically. So yes, and by the way, also, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to send me your thank you Baby Metal video for songs like this, which have helped us survive through the last year or so. I think that's all. Okay. Thank you. As ever, like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.